Hey there, treasure hunters. Did you know that the pocket change rattling in your car's cup holder or tucked away in your couch cushions could actually be worth a small fortune? Sounds crazy, right? Well, buckle up because today, we're diving into the fascinating story of the 1991 no-mint mark Abraham Lincoln penny, a coin that's turning heads in the collector world and could be worth a jaw-dropping $10,000. Yep, that's right, a penny worth more than a used car. Stick around because I'm not only going to tell you why this penny is so valuable, but I'm also going to share a personal story about how I almost threw away a coin that could have been worth big bucks. Spoiler alert, it involves a trash can and a very frantic 3 a.m. search, alright, so let's get into it. First things first, what's so special about the 1991 no-mint mark penny? If you've ever taken a close look at your coins, you've probably noticed tiny letters stamped on them, like D4 Denver or S4 San Francisco. These are mint marks that tell us where the coin was made, but here's the twist: if your 1991 penny has no mint mark at all, it likely came from the Philadelphia Mint. Usually, that's not a big deal because millions of these coins were churned out. So, what makes this one worth $10,000? It all boils down to rarity and condition. Enter the world of grading. Coin collectors love their lingo, and when they talk about MS65, they're not planning a secret mission, it's a grading term. MS stands for mint state, and a 65 is basically like saying the coin is in pristine, showroom quality condition. If your 1991 no-mint mark penny is in this grade, congratulations! You've got yourself a potential jackpot. Now, let me sprinkle in some humor here. Imagine explaining to your boss why you're late to work. Sorry, I was closely examining a penny with a magnifying glass to see if I could retire early. But seriously, folks, the odds of finding one of these coins are slim, but not impossible. Here's where my personal story comes in. A couple of years ago, I was cleaning out an old box in my garage. You know, one of those boxes that's a time capsule of random stuff: old receipts, batteries that no longer work, and a pile of coins. I almost tossed it all out, but something told me to take a closer look. As I sifted through, I found a shiny penny that looked different. It was a 1991 no-mint mark penny. I didn't think much of it until I Googled it later. Guess what? It wasn't the rare one, but it was still worth about $10. Moral of the story? Check before you chuck. So, how do you know if your penny is the real deal? First, grab a magnifying glass. No mint mark? Check. Next, look at the condition. Does it look like it's been through a rock tumbler or straight out of the mint? Finally, consult a professional grading service like PCGS or NGC. They'll let you know if you've struck gold or, well, copper. And for those of you wondering, who's buying these pennies for $10,000? Collectors, my friends. They're the ones driving up the value because these coins are like rare Pokemon cards, they just gotta have them all. So, there you have it, folks. The 1991 no-mint mark Lincoln penny could be your ticket to a 5-figure payday. Just imagine telling your friends at a party, yeah, I made 10 grand from a penny. Talk about a mic drop moment, but before you go rummaging through every couch cushion and coin jar in sight, here's the deal: knowledge is power. The more you know about rare coins like this, the better your chances of spotting one. If you found this video helpful or even just entertaining, hit that subscribe button and join our community of treasure hunters. I've got plenty more tips, tricks, and stories to share about coins that could make you rich. And hey, maybe next time, I'll tell you about the time I accidentally spent a rare coin on a vending machine snack. Spoiler: worst bag of chips ever. Hey there, coin enthusiasts. Imagine this: you're digging through your pocket change or cleaning out that mysterious junk drawer, and boom, there it is. A penny. But not just any penny. It's a shiny 2020 D-mint mark Abraham Lincoln penny. Looks pretty ordinary, right? But what if I told you this humble little coin could be worth a jaw-dropping $20,000? Yes, you heard me right. $20,000. For a penny. Let me tell you, if finding one of these isn't the ultimate level-up moment in life, I don't know what is. Today, we're diving into why this coin is so valuable, how to spot one, and most importantly, how you could cash in on it. Stick around, because this might just be the easiest treasure hunt of your life. Alright, let's get into it. What's the deal with the 2020 D Abraham Lincoln penny? First off, the D mint mark tells us it was minted in Denver. Now, the 2020 pennies aren't rare in general, they produced billions of them, but this specific variation? That's where things get spicy. You see, some of these coins have unique errors or anomalies that collectors absolutely lose their minds over. We're talking things like double die obverse, where the lettering or Lincoln's profile appears slightly doubled. Or there might be a floating roof on the Lincoln Memorial on the back. Don't even get me started on the die cracks that make it look like Abe's having a really bad day with his hairstyle. These flaws make the coin incredibly unique, which means collectors are willing to pay big bucks to own one. Let me share a quick story with you. Last year, my buddy Dave, the guy who's always like, coins aren't my thing, found one of these 2020 D pennies. He thought it was just a shiny new penny and was about to toss it in a Coinstar machine. Thankfully, I stopped him just in time and convinced him to get it checked out. Guess what? It had a slight doubling on the date and a tiny die crack on the reverse. He ended up selling it for $15,000 at an auction. $15,000 for a coin he almost turned into store credit for frozen pizza. Look for 2020 and the small d below the date. If it doesn't have the D, it's minted elsewhere and not the Denver variation we're talking about. Grab a magnifying glass or, if you're fancy, a jeweler's loupe and carefully inspect Lincoln's profile. Look for doubling, especially around the eyes and the date. Flip that coin over and study the Lincoln Memorial. Is the roofline floating? Are there weird cracks? Congratulations, you might just have a winner. Coins in pristine condition, what collectors call MS67 or higher, fetch the highest prices. So, if you find one, handle it carefully. No tossing it in with your car keys, alright? If you've got one, the next step is to get it graded. Send it to a trusted service like PCGS or NGC. Yes, it'll cost a bit, but trust me, it's worth it. Once graded, you can list it for sale at auctions or to private collectors, and bam, you're rolling in cash. So there you have it. The 2020 D Abraham Lincoln penny might be the most valuable thing hiding in your change jar right now. Who knew something so small could be worth so much? Life really does have a sense of humor, doesn't it? If you enjoyed this video and want to learn more about other coins that could turn your spare change into a fortune, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. I mean, come on, who doesn't want free money tips delivered straight to their feed? While you're at it, give this video a thumbs up and share it with your friends, because who knows? Maybe they've got a $20,000 penny just lying around. Hey, coin enthusiasts! Did you know that a simple penny, the one you might find stuck between the cushions of your couch, could actually be worth thousands of dollars? Sounds crazy, right? Well, hold on to your wallets, because today, we're diving into one of the most exciting pennies out there, the 1993 no-mint mark Abraham Lincoln penny, and guess what? It's currently worth around $40,000. Yeah, that's right. If you've got one of these bad boys hanging out in your change jar, you might just have an unexpected gold mine on your hands. Stick around, because I'm about to tell you exactly why this little penny is a big deal, how you can tell if you've got one, and most importantly, how you might be able to cash in on it. So, grab your magnifying glass, and let's get into it. Now, let's get into the heart of the matter. Why is this 1993 no-mint mark Lincoln penny worth so much? I mean, pennies are like the humble underdog of the coin world, right? No one really thinks twice about them. They're often thrown in a jar or tossed into the bottom of your bag, forgotten until you need some loose change to grab a coffee. But this penny? It's a little different. You see, most pennies are minted with a mint mark. For example, if you find a penny with a D on it, that means it was minted in Denver. A P means Philadelphia, and so on. But here's where things get interesting. In 1993, the US Mint was supposed to put a mint mark on every penny. However, some pennies got through the system without one, and this rare mistake turned them into a major collector's item. So, why is it so valuable? Well, mint errors like this one don't happen every day. And when they do, collectors go nuts trying to get their hands on them. Since the 1993 no-mint mark penny was produced in such limited numbers, it's super rare and highly sought after by coin collectors. In fact, these pennies can sell for as much as $40,000 depending on their condition. Okay, before you run off to check your pennies, let me share a little story. Back when I was a kid, I used to collect coins as a hobby. But honestly, I didn't think anything of the pennies. Those were just the ones I would toss into my piggy bank without even a second glance. I had this huge jar of them, probably enough to fill an entire bathtub. One day, my mom was cleaning out the attic and stumbled upon an old coin collection I had forgotten about. She handed me this dusty box, and to my surprise, inside were all my pennies. But here's the kicker: after doing a little research, I discovered that one of those pennies from 1984 turned out to be worth over $100. It wasn't a 1993 no-mint mark penny, but it was enough to make me seriously rethink my coin habits. That was the moment I realized, sometimes, the coins that seem the least valuable are the ones that hold the biggest surprises. And now, you might be wondering, how do I know if I have one of these rare 1993 no-mint mark pennies? Well, you're in luck. Here's a simple guide to help you out. Look for a penny with a 1993 date. That's the first step. But it doesn't stop there. This is the key. The 1993 no-mint mark penny doesn't have the D or P mint mark, which means it was minted without one, a big mistake for a coin that was supposed to have it. As with all collectibles, condition is key. A penny that's in good condition will fetch a higher price. If your penny is worn out from being bounced around in your pocket or dropped into a fountain, it might not be worth quite as much. So, if you're digging through your pennies now and feeling a little giddy, remember this: if you find one of these rare coins in good shape, you might be holding onto a small treasure. Now, let's talk about the value of these bad boys. As I mentioned, a 1993 no-mint mark penny can go for as much as $40,000, but there's more to it than just finding one. When it comes to these rare coins, collectors are looking for two things: rarity and condition. Coins with no mint mark are scarce, and as time passes, their value can increase. If your penny is in mint condition, and by mint, I mean no obvious scratches, dings, or dirt, then you're sitting on a potential gold mine. But here's a tip: before you get too excited and start trying to sell it, make sure you get it appraised. The market fluctuates, and an expert's opinion can help you know exactly what your coin is worth. Alright, so let's wrap things up. The 1993 no-mint mark Abraham Lincoln penny is a true gem in the coin world. It's one of those rare finds that can change your financial landscape, all thanks to a tiny little mistake by the US Mint. So, take a moment to check your change jar, your piggy bank, or maybe that stack of coins you've been ignoring. You could have a potential fortune sitting there, and before you go, let me hit you with a quick call to action. If you want more tips on how to spot valuable coins, learn some sneaky strategies for making money off your collection, or just geek out over coins like I do, make sure to hit that subscribe button. Trust me, you don't want to miss out on future videos where I dive into more coins worth a ton of money. Hey there, coin lovers! Ever wondered if that penny you've been ignoring in your couch cushions could actually make you some serious cash? Well, I've got a story for you. Picture this: just last week, I was cleaning up my living room, the usual, picking up snacks that have somehow fallen behind the couch cushions. And guess what I found? A penny. No big deal, right? It's just a penny, or so I thought. But then I remembered something important. Sometimes, that humble little penny could be worth more than you'd ever imagine. Like today's star, the 2017 D-Mint mark Abraham Lincoln penny. Now, I know what you're probably thinking. A penny? Seriously? How much could a penny be worth? Well, let me hit you with some knowledge. This 2017 D penny is worth a lot more than you think. We're talking up to $50,000. Yeah, you heard that right, $50,000. That's not a typo. I mean, you could buy a whole bunch of new couches with that kind of cash, or, a nice vacation. But let's slow down for a second. How did a penny that came out just a few years ago end up worth so much money? Great question. And no, it's not because someone sneezed on it and made it lucky. There's more to it, so let's dive in. First of all, the 2017 D penny is part of the Lincoln Cents series, which means it's all about honoring the 16th President of the United States, Abraham Lincoln. Pretty cool, right? But here's the catch: this penny's value isn't tied to how old it is. It's all about rarity and condition. You see, the 2017 D penny didn't have a crazy low mintage like some of those older, super rare coins, but it's the condition that matters here. If you've got one that's in mint condition, think perfect, no scratches, no wear, then you could be looking at a valuable coin. It's also because of how few of them ended up being in this condition after circulation. Honestly, it's a little like that old family photo album you find buried in your attic. Everyone's got one, but the ones that are in pristine condition are the real treasures. A lot of 2017 D pennies didn't stay in good shape after being tossed around in pocket change, but if you happen to have one that's basically perfect, well, guess what? You've got yourself a small fortune on your hands, and before you get too excited and start digging through every penny you own, let me throw in a little reminder. It's not just about having a 2017 D penny, it has to be in top-notch condition, and that's where the real value comes in. You know, this reminds me of the time I thought I'd found a treasure, a rare comic book from the 90s. I thought I was going to retire early. I dusted it off, checked the value, and realized it was only worth $1, maybe $2. Well, at least I got some exercise running to the mailbox, right? But seriously, it's important to know what you're looking for before you get too excited. So, let's break it down. If your 2017 D penny is in great condition, it can be worth anywhere between $1,000 and $50,000 depending on its rarity and grading. If you take it to a professional coin grader, they'll determine the exact condition and give it a grade, which will help set the price. The higher the grade, the higher the value. Coins that have barely been touched by time or circulation are the real moneymakers, but here's the thing, you've got to be careful. Not every 2017 D penny is going to fetch you a fortune. There are people out there who will try to convince you that any penny with a D mint mark is worth big bucks, but in reality, it's about the rarity and condition of the coin. So, make sure you've got the real deal before you start thinking you're about to retire early. Okay, so now you're probably wondering, how do I know if my 2017 D penny is worth something? Great question. The first step is to look at its condition. A coin's grade is everything. Look for any signs of wear. If it's well worn, it's probably not going to be worth much. But if it looks like it just came out of the mint, there's a chance it could fetch a pretty penny, pun totally intended. You can also get your coin graded by professionals, like the folks over at the Professional Coin Grading Service, PCGS, or the Numismatic Guarantee Corporation, NGC, and let's be honest here, folks. Even if your penny isn't worth $50,000, it's always fun to learn about coins that have such a crazy value. Who knows? The next time you go through your change, you might just find a gem. So, if you're all about finding hidden treasures in your spare change, hit that subscribe button, because I've got more coin tips coming your way. And hey, if you're digging through your coins and find something amazing, don't forget to let me know in the comments below. I love hearing about those coin discoveries, and remember, folks, don't just look at coins the same way again. They're not just pocket change, they could be your ticket to something amazing. Hey there, coin lovers. Imagine this, you're digging through your pocket change, and you find a random penny. It's just an ordinary penny, right? Wrong. That little piece of copper could actually be worth some serious cash. I'm talking about the 2013 no mint mark Lincoln penny, a coin that could have you rolling in the dough if you've got one hiding in your collection. Yeah, you heard me right. A penny worth $60,000. No joke. But before you go diving into your piggy bank or wallet, let's break down how this coin came to be and why it's worth so much. Stick around because what I'm about to tell you might just change how you look at your loose change forever. Alright, let's get into it. So, you might be thinking, how in the world does a 2013 penny suddenly turn into a $60,000 coin? Well, the answer isn't as simple as you might think. First, let's talk about what makes this penny so special. Typically, pennies have a mint mark indicating where they were produced. For example, D4 Denver, S4 San Francisco. But in 2013, some pennies were made without a mint mark at all. That's right, these little guys rolled out of the US Mint with no identifying mark whatsoever. Now, here's where it gets interesting. Normally, you'd expect a mint mark to be stamped on the coin, right? But this was a production error, a rare one at that. These no mint mark pennies weren't supposed to exist. So when they were discovered, collectors went wild. The story behind this 2013 no mint mark penny is like something straight out of a treasure hunt. Imagine finding a rare item you didn't even know was valuable, and suddenly, it's worth a small fortune. That's exactly what happened here. So, if you happen to have one of these pennies, you've struck gold, well, copper, but still. This error is so rare that a single coin can fetch up to $60,000 at auction. Yes, $60,000. Not bad for a penny, right? But how does something like this happen? Well, folks, it's all about human error. During the 2013 minting process, some pennies got out without that little mint mark stamp, kind of like a printing mistake that turned into a lucky find. And let me tell you, the rarity of these coins is what makes them so valuable. You can't just stroll into a coin shop and find one of these lying around. Oh no, if you're lucky enough to have one, you've got something that collectors are itching to get their hands on. Alright, now I know what you're thinking, but do I have one of these pennies in my change jar? And the honest answer? Maybe. It's all about paying attention to the details. The no mint mark penny will look pretty much like any other 2013 penny except for one very important detail, a no mint mark on the reverse side, where it's usually stamped near the bottom. If it's there, congratulations. You might just have the golden ticket. Now, I've got a personal story to share with you here. Back when I first started getting into coin collecting, let's be real, I didn't know a thing about errors or valuable coins. I'd just pick up random pennies and think, it's just a penny. But then, one day, I found this coin in my change that looked a little off. It didn't have a mint mark, and for some reason, I felt like I should hang on to it. Fast forward a few months, I did some research and found out it was worth around $50. Not bad for a coin that was literally sitting in my pocket for months, right? Now, don't get too excited and start throwing away your change without checking it first. A 2013 no mint mark penny is rare, but there are also plenty of other pennies out there that look like they might be valuable but aren't. So make sure you know what you're looking for before getting all treasure hunter on your loose coins. Alright, let's talk about how to actually check if you've got one of these little guys in your collection. You'll want to carefully inspect the reverse side of the penny. If it's missing that mint mark, congratulations, you might have struck gold or, well, copper. It's important to look closely because sometimes the mint mark can be faint or worn out, which can make it hard to spot. Now, for those of you who might have a 2013 penny with no mint mark and think it's worth $60,000, here's the thing, not all of them are going to fetch that much money. The condition of the coin matters a lot. A penny with no mint mark that's in good shape, no scratches, no discoloration, and still shiny will get you a lot more money than a penny that's been worn out from years of pocket change shuffling. So, what about grading? If you're thinking about selling one of these rare pennies, getting it graded by a professional coin grading service is a great idea. The higher the grade, the higher the value. The top grade examples of these 2013 no mint mark pennies are the ones that fetch the big bucks. Plus, when you're looking to sell, you want to make sure you're going to a reputable dealer. Not all coin shops are the same, and some might not be offering you a fair price. Do your research, and don't let someone take advantage of your valuable find. So, there you have it, folks, the 2013 no mint mark penny, a hidden gem in the world of coin collecting. Who would have thought a simple mistake would turn into a $60,000 treasure, right? Now, I know it's not every day that you find a penny like that, but the fun part about coin collecting is that you never know what's hidden in your pocket change. Sometimes, the smallest things can be worth the most. If you're diving into the world of rare coins or just want to learn more about coins that could make you a fortune, make sure to subscribe to this channel for more tips, tricks, and strategies on finding valuable coins. Hit that bell so you don't miss out on our next video, because you might just have a rare coin sitting in your pocket right now. And who doesn't want to make some extra cash? Hold on to your pocket change, folks, because today we're diving into a coin so valuable, it's worth more than some cars. That's right, today we're talking about the 2016 mint mark Abraham Lincoln penny, and it's currently sitting pretty with a jaw-dropping value of $70,000. Yeah, you heard that right. $70,000. Just for a penny. And no, I'm not messing with you. This isn't some magic trick. I'll show you how to spot this rare gem and why it's worth more than your latest Amazon impulse buy. Now, you might be thinking, a penny, $70,000? Is this some kind of joke? Well, let me tell you, it's not a joke. But before we get into how this penny went from being a humble piece of change to a small fortune, let me hit you with a little history. So, the 2060 penny. Pretty normal, right? It's not like the 1909 SVDB or the 1943 copper penny. Nothing super flashy. But there's a little twist. It's one of those coins that made it through the mint with a tiny imperfection that actually makes it super valuable. Okay, here's the deal. some of the 2060 Lincoln pennies were struck with a minting error. The D mint mark, which stands for Denver, got placed in the wrong spot on the coin. Now, this mistake makes it incredibly rare, and like most things that are rare, people want it, and they want it bad. So, as time went on, coin collectors started to realize that this particular penny could fetch a pretty penny, no pun intended, if you could find one in great condition. We're talking about a coin that could easily fetch $70,000 if it's in mint condition. Sounds crazy, right? But trust me, the world of coin collecting can be pretty wild, and finding this penny can feel like finding a hidden treasure in your spare change jar. Alright, so how do you spot this thing? Well, first things first, you've got to know what you're looking for. A normal 2060 penny is pretty run-of-the-mill. The problem is, that little D mint mark can be the key to the whole thing. Most of the time, the mint mark will be in the correct spot under Lincoln's shoulder. But with this error, that mint mark is slightly out of place, either higher, lower, or off-center. It's a small detail, but it can make a huge difference in the value of the coin. So, if you're lucky enough to have one of these in your pocket right now, check it out. Could be your ticket to a small fortune. I'll tell you a funny story. A couple of years ago, I was going through my spare change, just like any normal person does, right? I mean, who doesn't have that jar full of pennies they never use? So I'm sitting there, sorting through the coins like, yeah, whatever, these are all just pennies, no big deal, when I come across one that looks a little different. It's shiny, it's bright, and something about it just stands out. I flip it over, and I swear, I almost fell out of my chair when I see the mint mark. I thought, wait, is that it? Is this the one that could be worth something? Turns out, it was just a normal 2060 penny, but hey, the excitement was real for a moment. The point is, you never know when you'll find a treasure hidden right under your nose, or in your couch cushions. So, let's talk about why this 2060 Lincoln penny is so valuable. Like most rare coins, it all comes down to supply and demand. There weren't a ton of these mistruck pennies produced, and because of the minting error, they're considered a big find in the coin collecting world now. Finding one is a bit like looking for a needle in a haystack. Not everyone will get their hands on one, but when you do, it could be like striking gold. Remember, condition matters too. A penny in perfect, uncirculated condition is always going to be worth more than one that's been rolled around in your pocket for a decade. Let's break it down. How can you tell if you've got one of these $70,000 pennies? Well, first, you've got to inspect it carefully. Get yourself a magnifying glass or a loupe, something that'll let you really see the details. Check that mint mark placement. If it looks off in any way, congratulations, you might be holding onto something special. Then, of course, check the overall condition. The better condition, the higher the value. If it's in mint condition with no scratches or discoloration, then you've really got a winner, but don't just take my word for it. If you find one of these pennies, definitely get it appraised by a professional. Don't go running to eBay just yet. You need to know what you're dealing with. Alright, folks, I hope you've learned a little something about the 2060 Lincoln penny and how you might just have a hidden treasure in your pocket. Remember, coin collecting can be a lot of fun, and you never know what you might stumble upon while going through your spare change. If you're not already checking your pennies, what are you waiting for? Go ahead and start your own coin hunt. You might find your own $70,000 jackpot. And hey, if you haven't already, make sure to subscribe and hit that bell icon so you never miss out on more tips and tricks about coins that are worth way more than you think. Trust me, you don't want to miss the next episode. You could be sitting on a small fortune right now and not even know it. Hey, coin collectors and curious folks. Have you ever heard of a penny that's worth more than a good dinner out? Well, I'm not talking about some ancient gold coin or a rare gem you'd need to break the bank for. No, this is a penny you probably have lying around in your drawer, or maybe even in your change jar, the 1987 no mint mark Abraham Lincoln penny. Yep, you heard that right. A simple, little penny that could be sitting in your collection right now and be worth a whopping $80,000. I know. You're probably thinking, how could a penny be worth that much? Well, grab your magnifying glass, because today we're diving into the fascinating world of the 1987 no mint mark Lincoln penny, and by the end of this video, you'll be searching your pocket change like a treasure hunter. Ready to find out how a simple penny could turn into your ticket to the big leagues? Let's go, so let's break it down. The 1987 no-mint mark Lincoln penny might sound pretty unassuming. I mean, it's not a 1943 copper penny or a 1955 double die, right? But there's something special about this one. You see, in 1987, the US Mint stopped stamping mint marks on pennies produced in Philadelphia. Yep, that's right, they just didn't bother to put the little P that you'd normally see. And that's where the magic happens. And now, you might be asking, why does that matter? Well, as with most things in the world of coin collecting, rarity is key. Because there were fewer of these no-mint mark pennies made, they became rare, and rarity equals value. So if you happen to have a 1987 penny without a mint mark, it's not just a penny anymore, it's a collectible. And right now, it could fetch around $80,000 in the right condition. That's right, $80,000. I know, it sounds wild. But in the coin world, things like this happen all the time. And now, if you're thinking, great, I've got a bunch of 1987 pennies at home. Time to cash in. Slow down there, partner. Not all 1987 no-mint mark pennies are worth a fortune. Condition is everything in the coin world. A penny that's been sitting at the bottom of your bag, covered in dirt and scratches, won't have nearly the same value as one that's in near-perfect condition. In fact, it's those mint state coins, the ones with minimal wear, that are worth the big bucks. Let me give you a personal story. A while ago, I was going through a box of old change my grandma gave me. She told me it was a treasure trove, and I laughed it off. Turns out, she wasn't kidding. I found a few older coins, but nothing jumped out at first glance. Then, one day, I was reading up on some rare pennies and thought, I should check out that 1987 box. And guess what? I found a 1987 penny with no mint mark. It wasn't in perfect shape, but it was close enough that I knew it could be worth a little something. After doing some research and getting it appraised, I found out it could fetch a nice sum if it were in mint condition. The moral of the story? You've got to check your pennies. You never know when you'll find a hidden gem just like I did, but before you go digging through every penny you own, let's talk about how you can identify the valuable ones. The 1987 no-mint mark penny is typically a standard copper composition penny, weighing around 2.5 grams. The key distinguishing factor is the lack of a mint mark. And to be honest, unless you've got a professional eye or a magnifying glass, you might miss it. But trust me, it's there. Just look closely at the reverse side of the coin, right under the E pluribus unum text. Now, here's a fun fact. A lot of people don't realize this, but the 1987 no-mint mark penny is not the only rare 1987 coin. There are a couple of other variations and types that have gone unnoticed. For example, certain 1987 pennies from Denver might have minor differences in their design, but those usually don't carry the same kind of market value as the no-mint mark versions. So make sure you're looking at the right one. So, how do you find out if your penny is worth a small fortune? Well, step 1, get a professional grading. You can get your coin sent to a grading service like PCGS or NGC, where they'll evaluate its condition, give it a grade, and tell you if you're holding on to something valuable. This is crucial because a coin that's in excellent condition can sometimes be worth tens of thousands of dollars more than one that's just in decent shape. Let's talk numbers, because we all love a good payday, right? If you're lucky enough to find a 1987 no-mint mark penny in mint state condition, that's a grade of MS65 or higher, you could easily be looking at an $80,000 windfall. The value can vary based on the coin's grade, but an average no-mint mark penny is worth between $10 to $50, so finding one in fantastic condition is like hitting a jackpot. And I know what you're thinking now, okay, I'm going to go check every 1987 penny I own. Well, before you do, let me give you a couple more pro tips on how to avoid wasting your time and energy. First, check the coin for its luster. A good quality penny should shine like a new penny. If it looks too worn, it's probably not going to be worth much. Also, make sure to avoid cleaning the coin. I know it sounds tempting to scrub off that dirt, but trust me, cleaning your coin can actually lower its value, not raise it. Alright, friends, that's a wrap on the 1987 no-mint mark Lincoln penny. Who knew this little guy could be worth so much, right? If you're lucky enough to find one in mint condition, you could be sitting on an $80,000 treasure, and that's not even an exaggeration. Coin collecting can be a fun, rewarding hobby, especially when you find something valuable hiding in your change. Jar.so. Before you run off to check your pennies, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. I've got plenty more tips on coins worth money, strategies for finding valuable coins, and other insider info you won't want to miss. If you love the idea of turning pocket change into a fortune, then you'll definitely want to stick around. As always, thanks for watching, and happy hunting! Don't forget to share your coin finds in the comments. I love hearing about the hidden treasures you guys uncover. Hey, coin hunters! Imagine this: you're casually going through your pocket change, maybe looking for enough quarters to feed the parking meter, and then boom, you stumble across a penny worth $2,000. Yep, you heard me right. A penny. Worth $2,000. And not just any penny, it's the 1972 no-mint Mark Lincoln penny. In today's video, we're diving into the nitty-gritty of this incredible coin. Why is it worth so much? What makes it special? And, most importantly, could you have one hiding in your jar of coins? Stick around, because by the end of this video, you'll know exactly what to look for and maybe even be $2,000 richer. Alright, let's start with the basics. The 1972 no-mint Mark Lincoln penny, what's the deal with it? First, let's break it down. No-mint mark simply means this penny was minted in Philadelphia. Philly didn't bother stamping their coins with a little letter back in the day, so if there's no D or S under the year on your penny, it likely came from Philadelphia. But hold up, not every 1972 penny is worth $2,000. Nope. That would be way too easy. The real jackpot lies in something called a double die obverse. Sounds fancy, right? It's basically a minting mistake where the design on the front of the coin is stamped twice, slightly off-center. The result? Lincoln's profile, the word liberty, and the phrase "In God We Trust" all look a little blurry or doubled. It's like the coin had a wild Friday night and woke up seeing double. Now, I know what you're thinking. Okay, how do I spot this magical coin? Grab a magnifying glass or your phone's camera if you're fancy like me, and look closely at the lettering. If it's doubled, congratulations! You might just have one of these rare beauties. Let me tell you a quick story. A few years ago, I was helping my grandma sort through her mountain of old coins. I'm talking shoeboxes filled with pennies, nickels, and the occasional Canadian quarter because, those sneak in there somehow. Anyway, I wasn't expecting to find anything valuable, it was more of a bonding thing. But then, I spotted a 1972 penny. No-mint mark. My heart skipped a beat. I ran to grab a magnifying glass, and there it was, doubling on the letters. I felt like Indiana Jones discovering treasure. Spoiler alert, it wasn't the rare kind. But hey, it taught me what to look for, and that's what matters. Okay, back to the facts. If you do find a 1972 double die obverse penny, the value can range from a couple $100 to over $2,000, depending on the condition. Coins in pristine, uncirculated condition are obviously worth more. So, if your penny looks like it's been through a war, or, just a washing machine, it might not fetch top dollar, but it's still worth checking out. Why is this coin so valuable? Well, rarity is a big part of it. Only a small number of these errors made it out of the mint. And coin collectors? Oh, they go bananas for stuff like this. It's like Pokemon cards for adults. The fewer there are, the higher the demand, and the bigger the payout. Now, let's talk strategy. If you want to increase your odds of finding one of these bad boys, start searching rolls of pennies from the bank. It's like treasure hunting, but without the risk of running into pirates. And don't just limit yourself to pocket change, ask friends and family if they have old coins lying around. You'd be surprised how many people have jars of pennies collecting dust. Alright, let's recap. The 1972 no-mint Mark Lincoln penny with a double die obverse could be worth up to $2,000. To spot it, look for doubling on the letters and numbers on the front of the coin. Check your pocket change, search those dusty jars, and maybe even hit up the bank for rolls of pennies before you go. Let me leave you with this: coins are more than just loose change. They're history in your hands. And who knows? That penny in your pocket might just be your ticket to an incredible payday. If you enjoyed this video and want to learn more about coins that could make you rich, or at least buy you a really nice dinner, hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. Trust me, you don't want to miss out on tips like these. And hey, drop a comment below if you've ever found a valuable coin. I'd love to hear your stories. Hey there, coin enthusiasts and curious minds. Imagine this: you're digging through your car's cup holder, looking for quarters to feed the parking meter, and out pops a humble penny. But wait, it's not just any penny. This little copper treasure could be worth a whopping $3,000. Yep, you heard that right. A penny. 3 grand. Mind blown yet? Today, we're diving deep into the story of the 1996 D-Mint Mark Lincoln penny, a seemingly ordinary coin with an extraordinary value. I'll share what makes it so special, how you can spot one, and even throw in a little personal story about the time I almost missed out on a valuable coin. Spoiler, it involves coffee and a vending machine. Stick around because by the end of this video, you might just become $3,000 richer, or at least know what to look for. Alright, let's get into the nitty-gritty of the 1996 D Lincoln penny. First off, what's with the D? That's the mint mark, and it tells us this penny was struck at the Denver Mint. Denver's mint is like the Hollywood of coin production, lots of hits and a few hidden gems. So, why is this particular penny worth so much? It comes down to a rare error. Some 1996 D pennies were minted with a slight doubling in the design. Numismatists, aka the cool kids of the coin world, call this a double die error. It's subtle but valuable. We're talking about a doubling effect on Lincoln's profile or the lettering, like the words, "In God We Trust" or "Liberty." If you squint and see that extra detail, congratulations, you might just have a jackpot in your hand. Now, don't go rushing off to cash in every penny you've got. Condition matters a lot. A circulated coin you found in your couch cushions might fetch a few $100s, but a shiny, uncirculated one in pristine condition? That's where the $3,000 comes into play. Think of it like real estate: location, 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 except here it's all about condition, condition, condition. Here's a quick pro tip: grab a magnifying glass or even your phone's camera and look closely at the coin. If you spot any doubling or other oddities, you're onto something. And while you're at it, keep an eye out for any other unusual features, like off-center strikes or die cracks. These quirks can bump up the value even more. And now, let me tell you a quick story about my own penny adventure. One time, I was at a coffee shop. I ordered my usual black coffee, no sugar because I'm fancy like that, and paid in cash. The cashier handed me a few coins and change, and I almost tossed them into the tip jar. But then I noticed a penny with a strange glint. Something about it just screamed, "Check me out." Turns out, it wasn't a 1996 D, but it was a penny with a rare error worth about $100. Not bad for a coffee run, right? The moral of the story? Always check your change. You never know what treasures are hiding in plain sight. So, there you have it, the 1996 D Lincoln penny, a tiny piece of copper with the power to change your wallet. Whether you're a seasoned collector or just someone curious about coins, this is your chance to turn pocket change into serious cash. Remember, the key is in the details: the mint mark, the condition, and those rare errors. Before we wrap up, let me ask you this: when was the last time you actually looked at the coins in your pocket? Let me know in the comments because I'd love to hear your stories. And hey, if you find a 1996 D penny worth $3,000, don't forget to invite me to the celebration. If you enjoyed this video, smash that subscribe button and hit the notification bell so you don't miss out on more tips about valuable coins and how to find them. I've got plenty more coming your way, from pennies worth millions to nickels that'll blow your mind. Hey there, coin hunters! Imagine this: you're digging around your couch cushions or your car's cup holder, and you find a penny. Nothing special, right? Just a humble little Lincoln penny. But what if I told you that one of those pennies could be worth $4,000? Yeah, you heard that right, $4,000 for a penny. It's like finding a golden ticket in a chocolate bar. So today, we're diving into the fascinating world of the 2000 no-mint Mark Abraham Lincoln penny. We'll uncover why it's worth so much, what to look for, and how you might already have one hiding in plain sight. Buckle up, because this is about to get interesting and maybe a little bit funny, too. Alright, let's start with the basics. The 2000 Abraham Lincoln penny without a mint mark comes from the Philadelphia Mint. But here's the kicker: not all 2000 pennies from Philly are worth $4,000. That would be way too easy, right? The ones that fetch the big bucks are in near perfect condition, graded MS68 or higher. Basically, they need to look like they've never even been touched: no scratches, no smudges, not even a fingerprint. Imagine a penny so pristine it looks like it just got Botox. Now, you're probably wondering, why the no mint mark thing? Coins minted in Philadelphia often don't have a mint mark, but collectors go wild for coins in flawless condition because they're super rare. It's like finding a unicorn at a petting zoo. Out of the billions of pennies minted in 2000, only a handful are in this perfect state. That's what makes them so valuable. Let me tell you a quick story. A couple of years ago, I was helping my grandma clean out her junk drawer, the drawer where everything goes to die. I found this jar of old pennies, and one of them was a 2000 penny. My heart skipped a beat. Could this be the jackpot? I pulled out my magnifying glass, Googled what to look for, and it was just a regular, beat-up penny. But it got me thinking, if my grandma's junk drawer could hold a tiny piece of treasure, maybe yours can, too. Now, let's talk about how to spot one of these $4,000 beauties. First, grab a magnifying glass or one of those fancy coin collector lenses. Look at the coin's surface. Does it shine like Edward Cullen in the sunlight? Are there no scratches, dents, or marks? Great. Then flip it over. Check the edges, are they sharp and clean? Perfect. But remember, even if your penny looks flawless, you'll need a professional grading service like PCGS or NGC to confirm its value. It's like getting a second opinion from a doctor, but way less scary. By the way, if you're like me and love a good bargain hunt, check your local flea markets, garage sales, or even online marketplaces. People often sell coins without knowing their true value. A friend of mine once bought a jar of old coins for $5 at a yard sale and found a rare penny worth $500. Talk about a sweet return on investment. So, there you have it, the 2000 no mint mark Abraham Lincoln penny, a tiny piece of copper that could turn into a small fortune. The next time you're tempted to toss your spare change into a tip jar or the bottom of your purse, think again. That little penny could be worth more than your monthly car payment. Before you go, I've got a challenge for you. Go through your coins, yes, all of them, and see if you can find a 2000 penny. Check its condition and let me know in the comments if you think you've struck gold or, well, copper. And hey, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. I've got plenty more tips, stories, and strategies to help you uncover hidden treasures in your spare change. Who knows? Maybe the next penny we talk about will make you a millionaire. Hey, coin hunters and curious minds. Have you ever found a penny in your pocket and thought, it's just a penny, right? Well, what if I told you that one single penny could be worth $5,000? Yes, you heard me right, $5,000. Today, we're diving into the fascinating world of the 1971 Lincoln penny. By the end of this video, you might just be sprinting to your coin jars, flipping over every penny to find this jackpot. Stick around because not only are we going to talk about what makes this coin so valuable, but I'm also sharing a hilarious, and slightly embarrassing, story about the time I almost threw away a coin worth a small fortune. Let's get started. First, let's talk about the S mint mark. This tiny little letter below the year on your penny means it was minted in San Francisco. But wait, there's more to this story. Not every 1971 penny is valuable. The ones you're looking for are rare proof coins or coins with unique minting errors. These errors could include doubled I obverse, where the lettering or Lincoln's profile is doubled, or pristine proof coins that were never meant to be circulated. Here's the kicker, these coins are rare, but not unfindable. People have discovered them in circulation, hiding among the more ordinary coins. It's like finding a needle in a haystack, but the needle is made of gold. So, how do you know if your 1971 penny is the real deal? Grab a magnifying glass or, if you're fancy, a jeweler's loupe and check for it should be crisp and clear under the year. Look for doubled lettering or doubling on Lincoln's profile. Coins in mint condition, with no scratches or discoloration, are always worth more. If you spot these features, congratulations. You might just have a $5,000 penny on your hands. And now, let me share my story. A couple of years ago, I was cleaning out my car, a task I had been avoiding like the plague. In the cup holder, there was this sticky, gum-covered penny. I was this close to tossing it into the trash when something about the S caught my eye. I thought, could it be? Spoiler, it wasn't. But it taught me a valuable lesson: always double-check your change. That gum-covered penny? It turned out to be a 1995 double-die penny worth about $50. Not bad for a sticky situation, huh? Here's the thing: rarity and demand drive value. The 1971's penny's unique errors and limited production make it highly sought after by collectors. Plus, there's the nostalgia factor. People love anything tied to Abraham Lincoln. Add in a little competition among coin collectors, and suddenly, your pocket change is worth more than your paycheck. So, what's the takeaway here? Never underestimate the power of a penny. It might seem small and insignificant, but the 1971's Lincoln penny proves otherwise. Whether you're an experienced coin collector or just someone who loves a good treasure hunt, there's real money hiding in your pockets, car seats, and couch cushions. Before you go, here's my challenge for you: check your change. Dig through those jars, old wallets, or even your laundry pile. Who knows? You might just strike it rich. If you enjoyed this video and want to learn more about coins that could change your financial life, hit that subscribe button and turn on the notifications. I've got plenty more stories, tips, and coin hunting strategies coming your way. Hey there, coin enthusiasts and treasure hunters. Imagine this: you're digging through the change jar, searching for enough quarters to feed the parking meter, when suddenly, you spot a humble penny. Nothing unusual at first glance, right? But what if I told you that penny could be worth $6,000? Yep, you heard that right, $6,000 for one 1981 no-mint mark Abraham Lincoln penny. Welcome to today's video, where we're diving into the fascinating world of rare coins and uncovering why this specific penny might just be your golden, or should I say copper, ticket. Stick around because you might be sitting on a small fortune without even knowing it. So, let's start with the basics. What's so special about the 1981 Lincoln penny with no mint mark? When a coin doesn't have a mint mark, it means it was struck at the Philadelphia Mint. Back in 1981, they didn't add a P on pennies, saving themselves, I don't know, like 3 seconds per coin? Efficiency at its finest. But what makes this penny stand out isn't just the lack of a mint mark. It's all about rarity and condition. Now, here's where things get exciting. Only a handful of these 1981 pennies were struck with a particular kind of detail and craftsmanship. Coins that are graded in mint state condition, meaning they're practically untouched, are the ones fetching thousands of dollars at auctions. The key is to find one that's flawless or close to it. Speaking of condition, let's talk grading. Coins are graded on a scale from 1 to 70. A penny that scores anywhere from 65 to 70 is what you're aiming for. These coins are so pristine, it's like they've been cryogenically frozen since the 80s. If your penny looks like it's been through a blender, well, it's probably not a $6,000 jackpot, but don't lose hope just yet. Even a coin in decent shape can be worth a pretty penny, pun absolutely intended. Now, let me tell you a quick story. A few years back, I was helping my grandma clean out her attic. She had this old coffee tin filled with coins. Naturally, I thought, this could be my lottery moment. I started sifting through them, and guess what I found? A 1981 penny with no mint mark. My heart skipped a beat. I mean, could this be my $6,000 find? Spoiler alert, it wasn't. Turns out it had a scratch the size of the Grand Canyon. But hey, the experience taught me 2 things. First, always check your change. Second, don't get too attached to your coffee tin dreams unless it's holding a mint condition coin. So, how do you know if your 1981 penny is the one? Here's a quick checklist: flip it over. No D, no S, just plain old penny goodness. Look for sharp details and no major scratches. Fun fact: 1981 was the last full year pennies were made with 95% copper. If your coin has that rich copper glow, you're off to a good start. Here's the moment you've been waiting for. A 1981 no mint mark penny in mint state condition can sell for up to $6,000 at auctions. That's right, this little piece of history can pay your rent for months or fund a dream vacation, but don't rush to sell it just yet. The market for rare coins fluctuates. It's always a good idea to consult with a coin expert or get it professionally graded before making any decisions. And now, I know what you're thinking: great, another reason to hoard pennies. But hey, it's not hoarding if you're investing, right? Besides, digging through your loose change is way more fun than scrolling social media for hours. And who knows, you might just find the needle in the haystack. So there you have it, the story of the 1981 no mint mark Lincoln penny that could change your life. It's proof that sometimes, the smallest things hold the biggest surprises. If you enjoyed today's video and want to learn more about coins worth money, rare finds, and hidden treasures, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Trust me, you don't want to miss what we've got coming up next. And hey, while you're at it, give this video a thumbs up and share it with your friends. Who knows? You might just inspire someone else to dig through their change jar and uncover a fortune. Alright, let's talk money. Not just any money, I'm talking about a tiny copper coin that could be worth a cool $7,000. Yes, you heard me right. That little penny sitting at the bottom of your junk drawer, the one you didn't even think twice about, might just be your ticket to some serious cash. Today, we're diving into the fascinating story of the 1986 no-mint Mark Abraham Lincoln penny. Why is it worth so much? What makes it special? And how can you tell if you've got one? Grab your coffee, sit back, and let's get to the bottom of this treasure hunt. So, here's the scoop. Back in 1986, the US Mint cranked out millions of pennies, as they do every year. Most of these were stamped with a mint mark, indicating where they were made: Philadelphia, Denver, or San Francisco. But here's the catch: a small batch of pennies from the Philadelphia Mint went rogue and didn't get the usual P Mint mark. These are the 1986 no-mint Mark Lincoln pennies, and they become a hot commodity among collectors. Why, you ask? Well, coin collectors love a good mystery, and these pennies are like the Sherlock Holmes of currency. The missing mint mark makes them rare, and in the world of coin collecting, rare equals valuable. Think of it like this: if every penny were a pizza slice, the 1986 no-mint Mark penny is that one slice with extra cheese and pepperoni. It's just better. And now, before you start frantically checking your piggy bank, let me tell you what you're looking for. First, these pennies are made of copper-plated zinc, so they'll look like any regular penny at first glance. The key is in the details. On the front, you've got good old Honest Abe sitting proudly, and on the back, the Lincoln Memorial. But look closely at the front, just below the date. If there's no little P mark, you might have hit the jackpot. Here's a funny story. A couple of years ago, I was at a family gathering, and my aunt, who hoards loose change like it's gold, asked me to look through her collection. I wasn't expecting much, but lo and behold, there it was, a 1986 no-mint Mark penny. I joked with her that she was sitting on a small fortune while she complained about gas prices. She didn't sell it, though. She said it was her retirement plan. Classic Aunt Carol. And now, let's talk value. The current market value for a 1986 no-mint Mark penny in pristine condition can go up to $7,000. That's right, $7,000 for 1 cent. Of course, the condition is everything. If your penny looks like it's been through a war, it might not fetch that much, but even a slightly worn one can still bring in hundreds. So, if you've got one in great shape, it's time to start thinking about what you'd do with all that money. Maybe a vacation? Pay off some bills? Or just buy a lifetime supply of pizza? Your call. So, there you have it. The 1986 no-mint Mark Abraham Lincoln penny might just be the most valuable thing you didn't know you had. It's proof that sometimes, the smallest things can have the biggest impact. Now, before you run off to raid your couch cushions and car cup holders, let me hit you with this: if you enjoyed this little journey into the world of valuable coins, why not stick around? Hit that subscribe button and join me as we uncover more coins worth money, tips for collectors, and maybe even some fun stories along the way. Who knows? Your next big discovery might be closer than you think. Hey there, treasure hunters. Did you know there's a penny out there that's worth way more than its face value? I'm talking about a 1994 no-mint Mark Lincoln penny. That's right, this little copper coin, the one you probably pass by every day, could be worth a jaw-dropping $8,000. Imagine reaching into your pocket, pulling out some change, and realizing you've just found a mini fortune. Sounds crazy, right? But it's not. Today, I'm diving deep into why this specific penny is so valuable, how to spot one, and a little story about how I almost tossed a rare coin without realizing it. Stick around, you don't want to miss this. Let's kick things off by breaking down what makes the 1994 no-mint Mark penny so special. First off, what does no-mint Mark even mean? When coins are produced, they usually have a tiny letter indicating where they were made. For example, pennies with a D were minted in Denver, and those with an S came from San Francisco. But if there's no letter? That means the coin was minted in Philadelphia. Now, the 1994 no-mint mark penny isn't rare because of where it was minted. It's all about its condition and specific features. Collectors are always on the hunt for pennies in pristine condition, ones that look like they just rolled off the press. If your penny has sharp details, no scratches, and a shiny finish, you're in the game. But here's the kicker: there's a grading system for coins, ranging from poor to mint state. To fetch that $8,000 payday, your 1994 penny needs to be in almost perfect condition, known as MS67 or higher. Basically, if your penny looks like it's been through the laundry a few times, it's probably not worth much. But hey, don't give up hope, there's always a chance. Now, let me tell you a quick story. A few years ago, I was cleaning out my car. You know how coins just accumulate in cup holders? I found this super shiny penny and almost threw it into one of those coin counting machines. But something stopped me. I thought, this penny looks different. Turns out, it wasn't a 1994 no-mint mark penny, but it was still worth $50. $50 for a penny. From then on, I promised myself I'd always double-check my change. Moral of the story: never underestimate the value of your pocket change. So, how can you spot a valuable 1994 penny? Here's a quick checklist. If you think you've got one, don't just post it on social media asking if it's valuable. Take it to a professional coin grader or a trusted collector. They'll give you the real scoop. Alright, folks, we've covered a lot today. From what makes the 1994 no-mint mark penny special to how you can potentially turn it into $8,000, I hope you're feeling inspired to dig through your change jars. And remember, it's not just about the money, it's about the thrill of the hunt, the stories behind these coins, and the history they carry. Now, before you start rummaging through your couch cushions, I've got a little favor to ask. If you enjoyed this video and want to learn more about coins that could make you rich, hit that subscribe button. Trust me, you don't want to miss my upcoming videos where I'll share more tips, strategies, and hidden treasures in your pocket change. Imagine, you're going through a jar of change at home, you spot a penny, and without a second thought, you toss it aside. But what if that penny was worth 10 grand? Sounds like something out of a coin collector's dream, right? Well, it could be true, especially if you happen to have a 1973 D-mint mark Abraham Lincoln penny in your pocket. Stick around to find out why this little coin could be sitting on a fortune. Hey, coin lovers! Welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, I'm Jack, and I'm all about diving deep into the world of valuable coins, especially those hidden treasures that could be worth way more than you think. Today, we're talking about the 1973 D-mint mark Lincoln penny, which, believe it or not, can fetch up to $10,000 in the right condition. Now, you're probably thinking, a penny? $10,000? What am I missing? Well, my friend, you're in the right place to find out all the details. So, you're probably asking, what makes this penny worth so much? Well, it all comes down to a few key factors: rarity, condition, and demand. The 1973 D penny isn't rare in the sense that only a few were minted, millions were made. But it's the specific ones in exceptional condition or with a unique flaw that can fetch big bucks. The mint mark, which is a tiny letter D found on the coin, tells us that it was minted in Denver. But that's not the only thing that matters here. It's the quality of the coin itself that really makes a difference. Coins that have been well preserved or have a unique error can be worth a lot more than you might think. Alright, let's talk about condition. This is where things get really interesting. Most pennies you find in your change jar probably look a little worn. You know, the ones with scratches, smudges, or that one that has somehow gotten slightly bent. But here's the deal: the better the condition, the more valuable the coin. We're talking about coins that are in mint or near mint condition, meaning they look almost brand new, like they just came off the production line, fresh out of the wrapping. So if you've got a shiny, sharp 1973 D penny with little to no wear and tear, you might have yourself a nice little jackpot. Now, sometimes things get a bit quirky with these coins. Some 1973 D pennies have strange little errors that can make them even more valuable. We're talking about things like double dies, where the design appears twice on the coin, or misstrikes where the coin was stamped in a way it wasn't supposed to be. These types of errors can make a regular penny worth way more than face value. If you have one, you might just be sitting on a gold mine, well, a copper one, but you get the idea. Okay, let me hit you with a quick personal story here. A few years ago, I was at a local coin shop just browsing, nothing too serious. You know, picking through some old change, seeing if anything caught my eye. Then I found it. A 1973 D penny that was in incredible condition, so much so that I thought, there's no way this could be worth anything. I didn't even bother to look it up at first. But, lucky for me, I took a second glance and realized it could be worth a lot. That penny ended up being valued at $500, and I sold it not too long after for even more. It's crazy how something that seems so ordinary could turn out to be so valuable. Alright, now I know what you're thinking. How do I even tell if my 1973 D penny is worth anything? Well, first off, check the condition. Look for any signs of wear, like scratches, dents, or discoloration. Ideally, you want the coin to be as close to perfect as possible. Next, check for any errors or variations. A quick look online can show you common types of minting mistakes that might make your penny stand out. And don't forget about the size and weight of the coin. A professional grading service can confirm if it's a high-quality specimen worth big bucks. So, there you have it, your 1973 D Lincoln penny could very well be worth up to $10,000 if it's in the right condition or has a unique error. It's all about knowing what to look for and doing a little research. If you're out there digging through change, you might want to take a second look before tossing that penny into your jar. It could be your lucky day. Before you go running off to check all your pennies, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. I've got tons more tips on finding coins worth money, and I'm always on the lookout for hidden treasures you can add to your collection. If you want to keep learning about valuable coins and strategies to spot them, you're definitely going to want to stick around. Oh, and drop a comment below if you've ever found a rare coin. Let's swap stories. Hold on to your change, folks. Imagine this, you're rummaging through a jar of loose pennies, just looking for that elusive lucky coin, and bam! You stumble upon a 1985 penny, no mint mark, and it's worth a small fortune. Sounds too good to be true, right? Well, it's not. Stick around because today, we're talking about the surprisingly valuable 1985 no mint mark Abraham Lincoln penny and how it could be worth $20,000 or more. Trust me, this is one piece of history you do not want to overlook. So grab your magnifying glass and let's dive in. Now, let's get one thing straight. We're talking about a penny here. Yeah, a tiny, copperish coin that most of us toss in the change jar, or worse, in the "I'll get to that later" pile on the kitchen counter. But here's the kicker, some of these pennies, specifically the 1985 no mint mark variety, are quietly sitting in your pocket, your car, or buried in that random drawer where all lost things go. And they're not just pennies, they're gold mines waiting to be discovered. Okay, here's where it gets interesting. If you've got a 1985 penny without a mint mark, and it's in great shape, you're holding on to something that's valued at around $20,000. Yes, you heard me right, $20,000. That's not a typo. But before you start digging through every penny jar in your house, let's talk about what makes this coin so special. First of all, this penny doesn't have a mint mark, no D4 Denver, no S4 San Francisco, just a plain, naked coin. In 1985, the US Mint decided to not stamp a mint mark on certain coins that year. A little mystery here, right? It wasn't a mistake, but rather a deliberate decision, and that makes these no mint mark pennies highly sought after by collectors. It's like finding a rare Pokemon in your backyard when you were just expecting a squirrel. Now, you might be thinking, well, I've got 1985 pennies, but none without a mint mark. And that's exactly the point. Not every 1985 penny is worth $20,000. Most of them have mint marks, and they're worth, well, the standard penny value. But if you've got one of these elusive no mint mark coins, you could be sitting on a serious treasure. I know this all sounds like something out of a coin collector's fantasy. But trust me, it's not. A few years ago, I stumbled across a penny that seemed just like any other penny in my jar. You know, one of those "I'm too lazy to sort through this" moments. But then, out of nowhere, I noticed something off about it. It didn't have the usual mint mark. My heart raced, could it be? I googled it, checked the details, and sure enough, it was a rare 1964 no mint mark penny. Long story short, I sold that penny for over $500. I'll admit it, I did a happy dance around my living room. Now, I'm not saying you're guaranteed $20,000 for your 1985 penny. It really depends on the coin's condition. A well-preserved, near-perfect 1985 no-mint mark penny could fetch that kind of money, while one that's been through the washer with your jeans might be worth a bit less. But hey, even if it's worth a few $100, that's still a nice chunk of change for something you probably didn't even realize you had. So, how do you know if your penny is valuable? You want to make sure the coin is in good condition. Collectors love coins that have clear details, like the fine features of Lincoln's profile and the date on the reverse side. If it's worn down, scratched, or looks like it's been through a rock tumbler, it won't bring in top dollar. A good way to check is by using the rubbing test. Gently rub your thumb over the details. If they feel smooth or faded, the coin's value might drop. But if it feels sharp and defined, you could be holding something pretty special. And while you're checking your pennies, don't forget about the old magnifying glass trick. You'll want to inspect that coin under bright light to catch any tiny details. I've heard of collectors finding rare pennies while literally just standing under a light bulb, like, hey, that looks like it could be worth something. You never know, right? So, what have we learned today, my fellow treasure hunters? The 1985 no-mint Mark Abraham Lincoln penny could be hiding in your pocket, worth $20,000 or more if you happen to have a well-preserved specimen. But the chances of finding one of these rare pennies are slim, so don't get too carried away and start hunting through every single penny you own. But hey, now you know that you can turn a pocket full of change into serious cash if you keep your eyes peeled for the rare stuff. If you enjoyed this coin talk, you're definitely going to want to stick around for more tips on how to spot hidden treasures in your change. I've got plenty more coin strategies, insider tips, and funny stories up my sleeve, so make sure to hit that subscribe button, turn on notifications, and give this video a thumbs up if you learned something new. Who knows? Maybe your next penny jar rummage will be the start of your coin treasure hunt. Hey everyone! You ever find something in your pocket and think, is this thing worth anything, or am I just carrying around a piece of history for no reason? Well, I had that exact thought the other day when I was rummaging through a jar of loose change. Turns out, I had a few coins that could have been worth thousands of dollars, and I didn't even know it. So today, let's dive into one such coin that might be hiding in your change jar, wallet, or even stuck under your couch cushions. We're talking about the 1987 D-Mint Mark Abraham Lincoln penny, an unassuming little penny that could be worth up to $30,000 in today's market. Yes, you heard that right, $30,000 for a penny. If you think I'm kidding, well, stick around, because I'm about to blow your mind now. You might be thinking, a penny from 1987? Really? That's not worth much, right? That's exactly what I thought when I first stumbled upon this gem. After all, we're talking about a penny that's barely a few decades old, so how could it possibly fetch such a hefty price? Well, that's the mystery of coin collecting, and it's all about the details. My friend, the 1987 D penny isn't just any run-of-the-mill coin. It has a little something extra that makes it stand out. First off, it's important to understand the role the mint mark plays here. The D means it was minted in Denver, and that little letter on the coin tells collectors a lot about where and how it was made. But here's where it gets interesting. There were some pennies minted in 1987 that had minting errors, and that's where the value skyrockets. If your 1987 D penny has any of these rare characteristics, like being struck with an unusual die or having a double die error, bam, you've got yourself a coin that could be worth up to $30,000. Now, let me hit you with a real-life story. A couple of years ago, I was at a coin show. Yeah, you can totally find me geeking out at those, and I overheard a collector talking about how they found a 1987 D penny that had some sort of unusual flaw. The coin was in decent condition, but that mint error? It made it worth a fortune. The collector was basically doing a happy dance at the thought of all the money they'd make. I couldn't help but think, what if I missed out on something like that just by ignoring the change in my pocket? And you know what? That's the thing with these rare coins, they don't announce themselves. It's not like they have a big neon sign that says, I'm worth money. You have to really look closely and know what you're looking for. And now, let's talk about the actual condition of your 1987 D penny. A well-worn penny that's been through the laundry a few times probably won't give you that $30,000 payday. But if you find one in great condition, with little wear and tear, and especially if it has that magical mint error, You could be sitting on a small fortune. It's like finding a needle in a haystack, but when you do find it, oh boy, is it sweet. So, how can you tell if your 1987 D penny is worth big bucks? Well, first off, start with the basics, make sure it's an actual 1987 D penny. You'd be surprised how many people mistake newer pennies for the more valuable older ones. Then, take a close look at the coin for any signs of errors. A double die error means the image on the penny looks doubled, like Lincoln's face has a little shadow. If your penny has any of these errors, it could make it a lot more valuable than just the face value, but here's the kicker, these errors are extremely rare. We're talking about a needle in a haystack, so don't go thinking you'll find one of these every time you go through your pocket change. But hey, it's worth checking. And if you do find one, you'll be laughing all the way to the bank, my friend. Okay, I've got another little story for you. A while back, I was going through my grandmother's old coin collection. She had this box of pennies that had been sitting in her attic for years. I was expecting a bunch of dusty old coins, but what did I find? A 1987 D penny. I was so excited, I immediately Googled its value, hoping for a small treasure. But, no luck, nothing special about it. No mint errors, no strange die cracks, just a regular old penny. Still, the hunt for that hidden treasure got me thinking about how many coins could be hiding in plain sight. So, what can you take away from all this? First off, don't overlook your change, especially if you've got pennies from the 80s. The 1987 D penny could be worth up to $30,000 if you find the right error. And if you're anything like me, you'll be checking your spare change like a hawk from now on. If you're new to coin collecting, it can be a lot to take in. But here's the deal, it's all about being observant and patient. Coin hunting might not always lead to a jackpot, but hey, it's fun, it's interesting, and you never know when you'll find that one rare coin worth a fortune. If you found this info useful, make sure to hit that subscribe button, because I've got more tips coming your way. You'll want to stay tuned for the next video on how to spot other coins worth big money. Trust me, you won't want to miss it. So, hit subscribe, share with your friends, and let's keep the hunt going together. Hey everyone! Welcome back to the channel. Now, you might think all pennies are basically the same, right? I mean, we toss them around without much thought, maybe in a jar somewhere, or just let them roll around in the bottom of our pockets. But let me tell you, there are some pennies out there that are worth way more than just 1 cent. Case in point, the 1993 no-mint mark Abraham Lincoln penny. Yeah, that humble little penny you might have forgotten about could be worth up to $40,000. You heard me right, 40 grand. Imagine if you found one in your pocket today, what would you do with it? Maybe buy a new car? Or a trip around the world? Or an endless supply of snacks while watching your favorite shows? Stick around, because I'm going to break down everything you need to know about this rare gem and why you might just want to go through your old change. Okay, let's first start with the most important thing. What exactly makes this penny worth so much? So, it's a 1993 penny with no mint mark. That's it. Simple, right? But it's this little detail that has coin collectors jumping for joy. Normally, pennies from the United States have a mint mark, like a D4 Denver or an S4 San Francisco. The 1993 penny, however, was produced at the Philadelphia Mint and, for whatever reason, a lot of them came out without that mint mark. And now, let's talk about why this matters. The US Mint didn't produce a whole bunch of 1993 pennies without mint marks. In fact, it's believed that only a small number of these were made, so they're super rare. And, as with anything rare, the price goes way up. If you come across one, it could be worth $40,000, depending on its condition. That's because collectors love rare errors, and they're willing to pay big bucks to own a piece of history. And let me tell you, the 1993 no mint mark penny is one of those errors that really gets the coin community buzzing. But don't go thinking you're going to find one at your local bank or in your piggy bank. This is a rare find. You'd probably need a little luck to come across one, but it's not impossible. Alright, let's take a second to talk about condition. If you've got a 1993 no mint mark penny, don't go running to the nearest dealer just yet. A penny in mint condition, pun totally intended, is going to get you the highest value. The more worn down it is, the less you'll get for it. Think about it like this, if the penny's got all its sharp details, no scratches, and still shines like it just came off the press, that's when it's worth more. If it's covered in wear and tear, well, you might be looking at a smaller payout now. Imagine this: a few years ago, I was going through a bunch of old coins I found in a box in my attic. You know, the kind of box where you throw in random stuff you don't need, like old receipts and forgotten birthday cards. I was just casually flipping through a pile of pennies when I came across a 1993 penny that seemed a little off. It didn't have a mint mark. My heart skipped a beat. Could it be? I thought. But, of course, it was just a regular penny with some wear on it. Not worth much at all. But man, for a moment, I felt like I was about to walk into a treasure chest, but that moment was so close. That's why I can't stress enough how important it is to look closely at your pennies. I mean, even if you don't find the golden ticket, it's always fun to learn about the potential hidden gems you could have lying around. Alright, so there you have it. The 1993 no-mint mark Abraham Lincoln penny could be worth $40,000, but only if you're lucky enough to find one in good condition. So, if you've got a jar full of loose change, or a drawer filled with old pennies, go ahead and take a closer look at them. You might have a hidden treasure right under your nose, and here's the thing: coins are not only fun to collect, but they could also be a way to grow your wealth. I'm not saying you should start hoarding every penny you see, but if you're out there hunting for rare coins, it's important to know what to look for. And the best part? There are so many other coins worth money, just like this 1993 penny. If you're into learning more about rare coins, valuable finds, and tips to help you on your coin hunting journey, hit that subscribe button. I've got plenty more videos coming your way to help you become a coin expert. Who knows? You could be the next person finding a $40,000 penny. Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. So, you think all pennies are just pennies? Think again. Let me ask you this: how many times have you tossed a penny into your couch cushions or buried it in a jar somewhere, thinking it's just a penny? Well, what if I told you that one of those pennies, specifically the 1988 no-mint mark Lincoln penny, could be worth a whopping $50,000? Yep, you heard that right. $50,000 for a single coin. And no, it's not magic, it's just a crazy quirk of coin collecting that can turn your spare change into a small fortune. Stick around, because today, we're diving into the world of the 1988 no-mint mark penny and how it became a collector's dream. Let's get into it. Alright, before we get into how your 1988 penny might be worth enough to buy you a used car, let's break down exactly what makes this little coin so special. First, let's talk about mint marks. Now, mint marks are those little letters that tell you where a coin was made, like D4 Denver or S4 San Francisco. In 1988, most of the pennies were made at the Philadelphia Mint, which usually stamps an P on the coin. But here's the twist: some 1988 pennies were struck without a mint mark. And I'm not talking about an accidental omission, this was an intentional error that somehow slipped through the cracks of the minting process. It's one of those rare, oops moments that collectors absolutely love. Now, you might be thinking, okay, great, a missing mint mark. How does that make it worth $50,000? Well, here's the thing: this error is rare. Really rare. The 1988 no-mint mark penny wasn't widely distributed, and those that survived in good condition became prized collectibles. The rarity, combined with the fact that this penny is still just, well, a penny, makes it a true treasure hunt for collectors. Imagine finding a tiny, unassuming coin that could be worth a fortune, kinda like finding the last cookie in the jar after your siblings have eaten all the rest. You'd feel pretty awesome, right? Well, that's the thrill for coin collectors with the 1988 no-mint mark. So, here's a funny story for you. A few years ago, I was at a family reunion and we were all sitting around talking about old coins. Of course, I was super proud to be the coin guy in the family, so I brought out some of my treasures, you know, the usual: a 1969 S penny, a couple of 1955 double dies, and a few random coins I had found in my change. Everyone was mildly impressed, until my cousin Mark, who knows absolutely nothing about coins, casually pulls out a penny from his pocket. He's like, "Hey, I think this is one of those rare 1988 pennies with no mint mark." I was like, "Nah, it can't be. You're probably just seeing things, buddy." But to my surprise, this penny was legit. A 1988 no mint mark, perfectly untouched, looking like it had never seen a day of use. My cousin's lucky find turned into a huge moment for the family. And that's when I realized how crazy this world of coin collecting really is. You could have a $50,000 penny sitting in your change jar right now, and you wouldn't even know it. Now, here's where things get real for anyone who might be lucky enough to own one of these pennies. The value of the 1988 no mint mark Lincoln penny depends heavily on its condition. If it's a well-preserved, uncirculated coin, it could be worth up to $50,000, no kidding. But if it's a bit worn or tarnished, don't despair. It can still fetch a decent amount, usually around $1,000 or more, depending on the state it's in. So, how do you check your pennies? Simple, look closely at the date. If you've got a 1988 penny and there's no mint mark under the year, congratulations. You've got a potential gold mine. But before you start running to your local coin shop with a fistful of pennies, take a closer look at the condition of your coin. Is it shiny and brand new? Or is it a little dinged up from years of being tossed around in your pocket? The better the condition, the higher the value. So, no matter how many pennies you have lying around, give them a once-over and see if you've stumbled upon a hidden gem. Now, you might be thinking, okay, I get it. This 1988 penny could be worth some serious money, but how do I know if I have one? And that's where we come in. I've got tons of videos on coin collecting tips, valuable pennies, and the secrets to turning your spare change into cold hard cash. So, if you want more info on how to find coins that could be worth a small fortune, make sure to subscribe and hit that bell icon so you never miss an update. And hey, if you've got a 1988 no mint mark penny sitting in your collection, or you think you might, let me know in the comments below. I'd love to hear your stories of your own lucky finds or anything else cool you've come across in your coin hunts. Until next time, keep those pennies rolling, and who knows, maybe the next one you find will be worth more than your car. Catch you in the next video. Hey there, coin collectors and curious minds. Imagine this, you walk into your local coin shop, a handful of pennies in your pocket. You toss one onto the counter, and the shopkeeper's eyes widen. Is this a 1986 no mint mark Lincoln penny? They ask, as if you just pulled out a treasure chest. Now, before you start thinking it's all smoke and mirrors, let me tell you, it's very real, and that simple penny could be worth $60,000. You heard me right, $60,000 for a penny. No, it's not magic, it's the 1986 no mint mark Lincoln penny. Stick around, because today we're diving deep into why this penny is so special and how it could make you rich. And by the end of this video, you might just start looking at your spare change in a whole new way. Now, I know what you're thinking, what's so special about a penny from 1986? That's not even that old. You're right, it's not a 1909 or a 1943 copper penny, but here's the kicker, the mint mark, or lack of one, is the game changer. Here's the deal, the US Mint typically stamps a letter, either D for Denver, S for San Francisco, or P for Philadelphia, on most pennies to show where it was minted. But in 1986, something unusual happened. Some of the pennies from the Philadelphia Mint were produced without a mint mark at all. Sounds simple enough, right? But those blank mint mark pennies are rarer than you think. They slipped through the cracks, and over the years, they've become one of the most coveted pennies in the world of coin collectors. So, what makes this penny so valuable? It all comes down to rarity, condition, and the fact that only a limited number of 1986 pennies from Philadelphia were produced without the mint mark. Since then, those pennies have become a hot commodity on the market. In mint condition, they can be worth up to $60,000, a far cry from the 1-cent price tag you'd expect. Let me tell you a little story. A while ago, I found myself in a situation where I almost tossed a coin aside because I didn't think it was worth much. It was a random penny I found stuck in the couch cushions, you know the drill, just lounging around, waiting for someone to clean it up. I was about to throw it in the not worth it pile when something caught my eye. I couldn't quite make out the mint mark. Was it missing? Or was it just dirt? So, I Googled it, because hey, why not? Turns out, that little penny was a 1982 no mint mark penny, which is worth a lot more than you'd expect. Moral of the story, never underestimate a penny. You just never know when you'll come across a hidden gem. It's like finding buried treasure in your own home. Now, let's get down to business. How do you know if you've got a 1986 no mint mark Lincoln penny? Well, the first step is to make sure the date is 1986. The next step is to check the back for the mint mark, or in this case, the lack of it. If your penny is missing that mint mark, you're halfway there. But here's the thing, the condition of the penny matters too. If your 1986 penny is in excellent condition, meaning there's little to no wear and tear, you could be sitting on a $60,000 treasure. So, grab a magnifying glass and inspect your penny. Look for wear on Lincoln's face, any visible scratches, or signs of corrosion. The cleaner the coin, the more it's worth. And, of course, it's always a good idea to take your coin to a professional to have it graded, especially if you think it could be worth a pretty penny, pun intended. Now that we've covered how to spot one, let's talk about the value of your penny. As I mentioned earlier, in mint condition, this little beauty can fetch up to $60,000. But don't get too excited just yet. If your penny's a bit worn, it might still be worth some decent cash, but you won't be retiring off it anytime soon. A typical 1986 no mint mark penny in average condition could still land you anywhere from $10 to $100. The key here is condition. If it's uncirculated, meaning it's never been in circulation and still has that shiny, new look, you've got a winner on your hands. Get it graded by a reputable coin grading service, and you might just be holding onto a six-figure coin. Here's a little secret from one coin enthusiast to another: you don't have to search high and low for rare coins. Start with the basics, check your pocket change, check your drawers, and yes, even check the couch cushions. I mean, who doesn't love a good treasure hunt, right? Every coin tells a story, and every coin has potential. Whether it's a rare penny, a special edition dime, or even an obscure nickel, you never know what could be worth hundreds, thousands, or even tens of thousands of dollars. The trick is knowing what to look for, and that's where I come in. So, the next time you find yourself holding a penny, remember, it could be a goldmine in disguise. The 1986 no mint mark Lincoln penny is just one example of how rare coins can pack a punch in value. Look carefully, because you just might be holding onto a treasure that could change your life. Now, I want to hear from you. Do you have any hidden treasures in your coin collection? Maybe you found a rare penny or a valuable dime? Drop your stories and questions in the comments below. I'd love to hear about your coin hunts. And hey, before you head off, make sure to subscribe to the channel and hit that bell so you never miss another valuable coin tip. I've got plenty more tips, tricks, and stories to help you discover coins worth money. Trust me, you don't want to miss out. I mean, who knows? Hey, coin collectors! Did you know you could be sitting on a small fortune and not even realize it? Imagine looking at your old pennies and finding one that could be worth a whopping $70,000. No, this isn't a joke, and I'm not talking about some random fantasy coin. I'm talking about the 1991 no mint mark Abraham Lincoln penny, a coin that has caught the attention of collectors everywhere. You might be wondering, is this for real? A penny worth that much? Well, hold on tight because we're about to dive deep into the world of coin values, and trust me, you'll want to stick around for this. Now, I get it. When most people hear penny, they think of those little copper coins that pile up in our couches and wallets. You know, the ones that are more of an annoyance than anything. But there are certain pennies out there that are anything but ordinary, like the 1991 no mint mark penny. This penny is not just your typical piece of pocket change. In fact, it could have a value that'll blow your mind. And today, we're going to break down everything you need to know about this gem, its rarity, and why it's so valuable. You might even find yourself double-checking every penny you have after watching this, so let's start with the basics. You're probably asking yourself, what makes the 1991 no mint mark penny so special? Well, to give you a quick history lesson, the United States Mint stamps a letter, or mint mark, on most coins to show where they were produced. Normally, pennies have a mint mark indicating the location, like D4 Denver or S4 San Francisco. But the 1991 no mint mark penny? No mint mark at all. It's one of those rare anomalies where the coin was made in Philadelphia, but the mint mark was accidentally omitted during the production process. This tiny oversight has made this particular penny highly sought after. A single 1991 no mint mark penny in excellent condition could fetch you around $70,000. Yes, you heard me right, $70,000. And you might be thinking, wait, is this real? Absolutely. But before you start rushing to your coin jar, let me clarify, the condition of the coin is key. The coin has to be in great shape, preferably uncirculated or with very minimal wear. Coins with higher grades, a fancy term for coin condition, will always fetch more, so don't get your hopes up if you're dealing with a penny that's seen better days. Now, let's talk about how rare these things are. The number of 1991 no-mint mark pennies still out there is not exactly clear, but it's believed that only a few of these bad boys made it into circulation. They were produced in the Philadelphia Mint, but for some reason, the mint mark was left off by accident. Not exactly a mistake you'd want to make when you're in charge of making money, huh? But hey, that's what makes these pennies so valuable today. You might be wondering, how do I know if I've got one of these bad boys hiding in my collection? Here's a quick tip. Start by looking for any pennies from 1991. It's not enough to just grab any old penny from your change jar. You'll want to carefully examine it for the absence of a mint mark. Remember, there should be nothing where the mint mark usually is, under the date. It can be a bit tricky since these coins can sometimes be mixed in with regular 1991 pennies that do have mint marks. But once you find one, the real fun begins. Now, let's talk about what makes this penny worth so much more than a standard 1-cent coin. When something is rare, especially when it's an error coin like this one, it becomes highly desirable to collectors. It's all about the hunt. You know that feeling when you find something rare, like a vintage comic book or a signed sports jersey? That's the same excitement that coin collectors feel when they find a 1991 no-mint mark penny in perfect condition. The coin market is competitive, and error coins like this are always in high demand. Okay, so picture this: years ago, I found a couple of pennies lying around in my car while cleaning it out. I wasn't paying too much attention, just tossing them into a jar where they'd been collecting dust for a while. Fast forward to a few months ago, I came across this jar again and decided to sort through the pennies. Lo and behold, I find a 1991 penny that had no mint mark. At first, I thought, nah, this is probably just a regular penny, but something in the back of my mind said, maybe I should check. Fast forward again, and after doing a bit of research, I realized I had stumbled upon a rare 1991 no mint mark penny. I almost fell out of my chair. Long story short, I was able to sell it for a decent price and fund a few things I had been eyeing for a while. Moral of the story? Never underestimate the value of your loose change. Now, if you do happen to find one of these rare pennies, make sure to take care of it. You'll want to keep it in a protective coin holder or a display case, especially if it's in mint condition. Coins can easily get damaged by handling them too much, so treat it like the treasure it is. And if you're thinking of selling it, be sure to have it graded by a professional to ensure you get the best price for it. Grading can really affect the coin's value, so getting a proper evaluation is crucial. Alright, so now you know the 1991 no mint mark penny could be worth $70,000. It's rare, valuable, and definitely one of the coolest mistakes in the world of coin collecting. But here's the thing, you've got to be vigilant. Take the time to check your pennies, your loose change, and even those old coin jars you've been ignoring. You never know what hidden gems you might discover. Before you go, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed learning about the 1991 no mint mark penny. And hey, while you're at it, turn on the notification bell so you don't miss out on more tips, tricks, and stories about rare coins worth big money. Trust me, I've got tons more content coming your way. So, stay tuned, keep checking your change, and who knows? Maybe your next penny will be worth a fortune. Hey there, coin enthusiasts. Have you ever heard the saying, one man's trash is another man's treasure? Well, if you're into coins, let me tell you, that couldn't be truer, especially when it comes to the 1968 Lincoln penny. You might think, it's just a penny, how valuable could it be? But trust me, this little copper disc could be worth a whole lot more than you'd expect. Stick around, because today we're diving into the world of the 1968 Lincoln penny, worth a cool $80,000 in some cases, and I'll tell you exactly why this penny is not your average pocket change. Alright, let's set the stage. We all know the Lincoln penny, right? That classic copper-colored coin with Abraham Lincoln's face staring back at you like he's about to give you a history lesson. But there's one particular year and mint mark combo that really stands out in the world of numismatics, the 1968 penny. And now, you might be thinking, 1968, really? That's not too long ago. Well, you're absolutely right, but here's the kicker. This penny, with that elusive mint mark, is incredibly rare in certain conditions. And when I say certain conditions, I'm not talking about a shiny, fresh out of the mint kind of deal. We're talking about well-preserved, high-grade pennies that have avoided the daily grind of being tossed into piggy banks or spilled out in your couch cushions. Here's why the 1968's penny can fetch a pretty penny, pun intended. Back in 1968, the United States Mint produced pennies at multiple locations, but the San Francisco Mint, hence the S, didn't churn out as many of these babies compared to other mints that year. So, when you come across one that's in pristine condition, it's like stumbling upon a rare Pokemon in the wild. It's a keeper. In fact, some of these 1968's pennies can be worth around $80,000 if they're in mint state. Yes, you heard that right, $80,000 for a penny. But wait, don't go running to your coin jar just yet. For the penny to reach that value, it needs to meet certain criteria, like being in MS65, mint state 65, or higher condition. And let's be real, how many of us have kept a penny in perfect condition for over 50 years? I know I haven't. I used to think keeping coins in my collection was enough until I found out that a perfectly preserved coin is more like a unicorn than a regular sighting. Take it from me, I once thought I had a fortune hidden in the back of my closet, where I stored all my coins from my childhood. Turns out, those were mostly just well-worn pennies that wouldn't even get me a candy bar at the corner store. The lesson here? Don't just collect coins, take care of them. It could mean the difference between $1 and $1,000. So, how do you know if your 1968's penny could be worth anything? Well, first things first, look for that mint mark. The S on the coin is what makes it special, so check the back of your penny. If it's not there, it's not the one we're talking about today. Once you've found it, take a good look at the condition. Is it shiny and smooth, or does it look like it's been through a tornado? Here's a quick tip: if your penny still has clear details, like Lincoln's beard, seriously, look for that detail, the date, and the mint mark. You're off to a good start. If it's worn down and looks like it's been through 50 years of pocket change wars, it might not be worth as much. Also, don't forget that the grade of your coin is everything. If you don't have a grading system or a magnifying glass, you might want to take your penny to a professional to get an accurate assessment. You wouldn't want to misjudge your coin and throw away a small fortune. Now, let's get real for a second. A lot of us are just collecting coins for fun, and there's nothing wrong with that. But if you happen to stumble upon a rare coin that's worth a significant amount, it's like finding a hidden treasure. The real joy comes from learning about the history of these coins, the stories behind them, and how they can turn your coin collection into something special. So, there you have it, the 1968's Lincoln penny, worth up to $80,000 in the right condition. Remember, it's all about the mint mark, the condition, and the rarity of the coin. If you find one of these beauties tucked away in your collection, don't just throw it in a jar. Take care of it, get it graded, and who knows? You might just be holding on to your next big windfall. Before you go, I've got one last thing for you. If you're a fan of coins, whether you're collecting them or hoping to find that rare gem, be sure to hit that subscribe button. I've got tons of tips, tricks, and strategies to help you find valuable coins, spot the rare ones, and maybe even turn a few pennies into a small fortune. Who wouldn't want to make some money off their hobby? So, don't forget to subscribe, and I'll catch you in the next video with more coin tips and stories that might just leave you saying, I had no idea.